Hi all, and welcome back to another episode of There's Danger Here. I'm Leilani, and today it is the first Monday in the new month, and so I'm going to bring to you another MMIW case, as I promised at the beginning of the year. This one is another individual case, not one with many names in it. And so today I'm going to be talking about Savanna LaFontaine-Greywind. So let's get to her. Savanna LaFontaine-Greywind was born on August 9th, 1995, in Belcourt, North Dakota, to parents Norberta and Joe. They moved when she was little to Fargo. Then again, when she was 10, they uprooted to Spirit Lake Indian Reservation, settling in Tokyo. Both parents worked for Sioux Manufacturing Corporation in Fort Totten, making Kevlar panels, helmets, camouflage nets, and other military equipment. Through the moves, the family continued to grow, and Savanna became the eldest of 4. She did well in school and loved the outdoors, riding horses and listening to country music. She met a boy named Ashton Matheny in 2011 as a sophomore. They took it slow, but were steady from then on. On January 16, 2017, the now 22-year-old posted a selfie holding up 2 pregnancy sticks. She was due in September 20th. The couple planned on moving in together September 21st. The couple planned on moving in together on September 1st, 2017. Until then, Savanna was still living with her family in an apartment on the first floor of a 3-story apartment complex. Savanna worked at Eventide, a senior living facility, as a nurse's aide. On August 19th, a neighbor, Brooke Cruz, came down to the first-story apartment and asked if Savanna could help her with a sewing project, paying her $20. Brooke lived with a man named William Hone, a roofer. Savanna agreed and sent a text telling her mother she had ordered pizza from Deeks for everyone for lunch, and then told another family member that she was headed upstairs to the 3rd floor to help Brooke with a sewing project. At 1:24 p.m., she texted Ashton, who was away house-sitting for his mother in Grand Forks. By 2:30 p.m., she wasn't back, so Norberta sent younger brother Casey to get Savanna. Casey heard a sewing machine, but couldn't get anybody to answer the door, and so, after he came down, Joe went upstairs to knock until Brooke answered. Norberta ran Casey to work at this time and returned, but still there was no Savanna. After laundry, still nothing, no Savanna, so it was Norberta's turn to climb the stairs. This time Brooke answered and said that Savanna had left shortly after Joe had come up. Norberta tried calling her cell, but no answer. She realized that Savanna's car was still in the parking lot, and immediately panic set in. She knew something was wrong. Just after 4 p.m., she called the Fargo Police Department to report Savanna missing. Sam Bowman, a 30-year-old officer, went to the apartment, and Norberta told him everything that happened that day. Officer Bowman was the 4th person to climb the stairs, again knocking on Brooke's door. She answered and let the police officer in. Brooke said that Savanna helped resize a skirt for her, but after, she left. She did allow the police officer to do a cursory look around the apartment. He noted that William was in the bedroom, shirtless, drinking beer. After that, Officer Bowman spoke with Norberta and then went to the police station and filed the missing persons report. An hour later, Norberta called in requesting an update, but there was no new information, and so Norberta requested to speak with Officer Bowman's supervisor, Sergeant Mike Erbs. She did, but nothing came of it at this time. Little sister Kayla took to Facebook at 6:30 p.m. asking if anyone had seen her sister. At approximately 10:30 p.m., Sergeant Erbs and Officer Bowman responded to a disturbance call. This call landed them right back to Savanna's apartment complex. When they got there, they found the Greywind family, along with friends and extended family, making a number of approximately 25, all out in the front yard. Individually, they kept going upstairs and beat on Brooke's door, demanding to be let in. Dutifully, the officers ascended the stairs themselves, announcing their arrival, and noting they heard a loud thump prior to the door being opened. The couple had blocked their door with a couch. Brooke consented to a second search, and again, William is noted to be on the bed in the room. They came downstairs and told the waiting crowd there was nothing found. Ashton was amongst the group at this time, and so officers asked him about Savanna and their conversations that day. Back at the station, Officer Bowman asked Fargo Police Dispatch to trace Savanna's phone. But it was a dead end. Savanna's phone was off. They tried again the next morning, and Sprint tried at 3:28 p.m. Both times they were unsuccessful. By Sunday, the Greywinds were spreading fires around Fargo. Kayla called the district attorney's office and reached Tanya Johnson Martinez. After listening to Kayla, Tanya stated, quote, "The concern in her voice definitely alarmed me," end quote. Tanya called Detective Philip Swan, a financial investigator on duty that weekend. Detective Swan drove around the neighborhood looking for leads and spoke with Officer Bowman. Officer Bowman also knew that there was a warrant out for William Home in a domestic violence incident involving Brooke, but at this time they opted not to arrest him, in order to keep cooperation going. But still, there was nothing. On Monday, Detective Sarah Cruz was brought in and called All True Hospital in Grand Forks. This is where Ashton was when Savanna was missing, as well as a hospital in Devil's Lake. Detective Jason Skalicki attempted to have Savanna's phone pinged and learned that it was, quote, suspended due to overage, end quote. He then went to the Eventide to interview coworkers. At this time, Swan arranged for the Fargo Fire Department to patrol the Red River, as well as arranging U.S. Customs and Border Protection to send a helicopter to search from the sky. More detectives, Nick Kajonas and Josh Lewis, went back to the apartment and noticed a large dumpster. They had it moved off-site and then combed through it. They also walked the bike path nearby. But still, there's nothing. They got a set of unwashed clothing of Savanna's and met with a local canine search operation. The dogs ran for about a mile and a half, going to a local convenience store, but couldn't pick up her scent after that. The police put out a request that local businesses check their CCTV. On August 22nd, William Hone is driving his boss's truck when he backed into another car at a local Walmart parking lot. He fled the scene and was arrested. Upon his arrest, he admitted to the hit and run, saying he left because he knew of his other warrant. He even consented to a DNA test, and then was bailed out by his boss the next day. The same morning, Fargo Police Chief David Todd held a press conference about the disappearance. The delay in the press conference was only because Todd was out on vacation and had just come back. There was a newspaper article run on that Monday. As an aside, according to a 2018 report from the Urban Indian Health Institute, more than 500 Indigenous women and girls had gone missing or were murdered across 71 cities, with almost no media coverage. The same day, one of William's coworkers called the police station with a tip. William said that they had a new baby at home. This was finally a tipping point, and police now had probable cause to obtain a search warrant, surveilling the apartment while they waited for it to come through. On Thursday morning, August 24th, the police served the search warrant and found a newborn baby girl. Brooke Cruz was immediately arrested, and William Home was arrested back at work. Hazley Joe was healthy, despite being a month early. When asked how they kept her from crying, Brooke stated she was a very good baby. EMTs brought her out of the house, but until paternity was confirmed through DNA, the newborn was in the custody of Cass County Social Services. Ashton didn't even get to see her. Police thoroughly searched this time, but there was still no Savanna. The family didn't trust that the police were working hard enough after all. They had searched the apartment multiple times and didn't note a newborn. So they reached out to the MMIW community. Prayers, vigils, and searches were conducted. Not just within the community, but non-natives swarmed to help. College students from North Dakota showed up. A search headquarters was established in Trollwood Park. A map was used and volunteers were assigned to locations. They searched for 5 days during daylight hours. On the 5th day, some kayakers, paddling the Red River, spotted something in the water. Trash bags and duct tape caught on a log. Law enforcement was able to remove the bags and contents by 8:20 p.m., and an hour later Norberta and Joe were brought to the site. A body was found, and they confirmed it to be Savanna. On August 28th, Dr. Victor Froloff performed her autopsy. He removed her from 4 garbage bags that had tears patched up with duct tape. Her abdomen was covered by a black bath sheet and blood-soaked towels. Her legs were bound with brown rope, which extended up and around her neck. Underneath that were sharp horizontal incisions to her abdomen. Part of her bowel, uterus, and umbilical cord were protruding from the wound. The placenta was still attached to the uterus. She had a bruise on her right buttock and the back of her left arm. On August 28th, Brooke and William were charged with conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to kidnap, and giving false information to police about Savanna's disappearance. Now, there's no good place to put this, but Brooke had given birth to up to 7 children, none of which lived with her. William had fathered at least 2 and managed to fracture the skull of one of his sons when his son was 3 months old. Their bail was set at $2 million cash each. The DA cited the amount for William was based on his 2012 felony child abuse conviction and 2016 domestic assault. Also, the pair had been looking at traveling websites discovered during the investigation, and so they were both considered a flight risk. On September 12th, Ashton was awarded custody of his daughter, and he got to bring her home. In October, a bill named for Savanna was introduced by North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp in Congress. Under Savanna's Act, the federal government would establish protocols across jurisdictions on how law enforcement responds to missing and murdered Native women, along with improving access for tribal governments to national crime databases and requiring annual reports to Congress on the number of missing and slain Native women. In November of 2017, Brooke Cruz changed her not guilty plea to that of guilty, though William did not. Brooke's sentencing hearing was therefore set at January 16, 2018. It was delayed and ended up finally occurring on February 2nd, 2018, in which the details of the murder came out. On the day she was killed, Savanna went upstairs to help Brooke. Brooke started a fight and shoved Savanna, who fell and hit her head on the bathroom sink. Brooke grabbed a sharp knife and cut Savanna, pulling out the baby girl and cutting the umbilical cord. Then put the baby in a bathtub wrapped in a towel. At this point, Savanna is still alive. Then between 2 and 3 p.m., William came home to find all 3 in the bathroom. Brooke stated, quote, "This is our baby. This is our family," end quote. William asked if Savanna was alive, and Brooke reportedly responded, quote, "I don't know. Please help me," end quote. So William got a rope and wrapped it around Savanna's neck, according to Brooke. William thinks that she was dead when he arrived home. Also, according to court reports, both William and Brooke took a shower after they cleaned up the mess in the bathroom, and they put Savanna's body into a chest of drawers in their bedroom. When police came visiting for the 3 visits where they missed her, that's where she was. The couple decided that she needed to be disposed of, and so in the middle of the night, they took her to the lake where they left her. It remains unclear how they got her out and to the water without anybody noticing during the vigils and people searching for her. The reason that this happened? Brooke had been telling William that she was pregnant, despite having her tubes tied after her 7th child was born. According to Brooke, the week before the murder, she and William had a fight, and he flat out told her she wasn't pregnant. It shattered her delusions, and Brooke said that's what broke her. At the time, she essentially decided to take Savanna's baby. Family had to listen to this. Then they were able to give their impact statements. Joe was unable to read his, so the prosecution did. His statement included the request that Brooke get life without the possibility of parole, quote, so that HJ and our family can at least feel safe from her, end quote. The judge indeed sentenced Brooke to life without the possibility of parole. Kayla stated of this, quote, her cries mean nothing to me. Brooke Cruz does not deserve to live. She should not even be talking. She didn't have a reason to cry at all in court. That's all I have to say, and that's how I feel. Savanna deserved life. She deserved to be a mother to her child, end quote. On September 4th, 2018, William Hone pleaded guilty of kidnapping and providing false information to police, but he would not plead guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. On September 19, 2018, the trial began for the conspiracy charge. He was found not guilty. However, for the kidnapping and providing false information to police, he was deemed a dangerous offender and sentenced to life with the possibility of parole, making him eligible for release in 25 to 30 years. Appeals, of course, began immediately, and in August 2019, the North Dakota Supreme Court threw out the life sentence, citing that William shouldn't have been deemed a dangerous offender, and the maximum allowable sentence was 21 years. Brooke Cruz is serving time at Dakota Women's Correctional and Rehabilitation Center in New England, North Dakota, technically with the release date of January 1st, 2100. William Hone is not easily located. He appears to have been interstate compounded if he's still incarcerated. He's not in the North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Montana, or Wyoming registries. If he is out of prison, he has no social media profile, but one showing that he lived in Moorhead, Minnesota, that has a final post on February 21st, 2017. On October 10th, 2020, Savannas Act and Not Invisible Act were signed into law addressing the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls crisis. Savannas Act is meant to improve data collection on MMIW. It also directs the Department of Justice to review, revise, and develop law enforcement and justice protocols to address missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. According to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center, quote, the Not Invisible Act of 2019 complements Savannas Act, with its purpose to identify and combat violent crime against Indians or within Indian lands through the creation of an advisory committee on reducing violent crime against Native people. The advisory committee is composed of tribal leaders, law enforcement, federal partners, service providers, and survivors, who will make recommendations to the U.S. Department of Interior and the Department of Justice to combat violence against Native Americans and Alaska Natives, end quote. And that is the horrible case of Savanna and how she was brutally murdered for her baby. To all those out there listening, Be careful. It's a dangerous world we live in.